announced the Indonesia trade deal today. How many more trade deals beyond the letters will you announce before August 1st?
We're working on probably 5 or 6. Of the 5 or 6, I'm not sure I really want to do them. You know, you want somebody that knows how to negotiate. But we'll probably have 2 or 3. You know, we insist on opening up the country, which is a big deal. Indonesia was great. He's a great president. And we made a terrific deal where they opened up the entire country to trade with the United States. We weren't allowed to go in and trade. I think something similar will happen with I would say, India. And we have a couple of others. But I have to tell you, for the most part, I'm very happy with the letters. You know, the letters are a deal. You know, I can't explain it any better. The letters are a deal. The press doesn't want to pick that up. But I will veer from those deals on occasion when somebody is willing. Like if Japan would open up their country, they don't do that. They just don't do that. And I don't either. I don't subscribe to it one way or the other. But they won't do that. So we might just stick with the letter. South Korea is inclined to maybe do that. So we'll let you know. But we have letters out. Every time I send out a letter, essentially that's a deal.
President, on Ukraine, why did you settle on giving Putin another 50 days? It seems like he's had a lot of time to show he wants peace.
I don't think it's a long time. I think really the question should be asked, why did Biden get us into that ridiculous war? Why did Biden bring us there? That should never, ever have happened, that war. This is Biden's war. I'm just trying to end it.
Why do you think
a lot of lives?
Why do you think his opinion will change in 50 days when it hasn't over the last
a lot of opinions
6
change
months?
Very rapidly. Might not be 50 days. Might be much sooner than 50.
To that end, when do you think the first Patriot missiles, some of these weapons that our allies will buy?
They're already being shipped.
From what countries?
They're coming in from Germany and then replaced by Germany, and in all cases, the United States gets paid back in full.
Have you started?
What's happening, as you know, is the European Union, if you look, mostly European Union stuff, but let's put it in the form of NATO. It's very similar. But NATO is going to pay us back for everything. In some cases, we're going to be paid back by countries of the European Union directly.
Are we starting to see those payments?
We're always getting our money back in full. So we're not going to have any more investment to make. We're getting our money back in full. And if we can make a deal, that'd be great. We're saving 5,000 or 6,000 soldiers a week. They're Russian and they're Ukrainian soldiers. They're not American soldiers. And we won't have boots on the ground. But it's a shame. 5,000. Last week they say 7,100 soldiers, both Russian and Ukraine, were killed.
Hey, can I ask you about Iran? Have you seen any progress in talks with Iran? We haven't really heard about that in a while.
Well, they want to talk. I'm in no rush to talk. They would like to talk. I'm in no rush to talk because we obliterated their site. They'd have to start all over. In fact, it's obliterated to the point that it's not usable anymore. They'd have to pick a different mountain. That mountain is so blown up inside and so unstable that they would have to pick a different mountain. Our people really did the job. Yes, please.
On the fence, sir, would you fire Jerome Powell over the Treasury renovation?
Well, he spent $2.5 million building this place. I have to say this. I think he's terrible. I think he's a total stiff. But the one thing I didn't see him as a guy that needed a palace to live in. You talk to the guy, it's like talking to nothing. It's like talking to a chair. No personality, no high intelligence, no nothing. But the one thing I would have never guessed is that he would be spending $2.5 billion to build a little extension onto the Fed.
Is that a fireable
Nobody's ever seen it. I think it sort of is. Because if you look at his testimony to the House and the Senate, you take a look at the testimony, it's under it. That whole thing is, he's not talking about the problem. It's a big problem. $2.5 billion, and that's $2.5 billion now. That's going to be a lot more money than $2.5 billion to expand. And with all of that, to house thousands of people to give him information, and yet out of the 71 economists, and they included me and one other person got it right. I got it right, and one other genius got it right. They had everybody else was wrong. 69 were wrong, and 2 were right. I was one of them. And I don't have a lot of people. I have Howard. I have Doug. I have a few people. He has thousands of people, and he got it wrong. No, I think when you spend $2.5 billion on really a renovation, I think it's pretty disgraceful.
On the Fed chair search, sir.
Have you spoken to President Putin since your announcement yesterday?
No, I haven't.
And do you think when you speak to him on the phone, does he say that he wants peace?
Yeah,
What does he say to you?
He says he wants peace. Yeah. So far, it's all talk and no action.
Do you believe him? I mean,
But, if you think about it, India, Pakistan, we did so many. The Congo, and I mean, look at the deals we've made. We made all these peace deals. Look at Rwanda. It was an impossible deal to make with the Congo. I made that. I made all of these deals, Serbia, Kosovo, and here's the one deal. And actually, Vladimir called me up. He said, I'd love to help you with respect to making a deal with a couple of them, like Iran. I'd love to help you. I say, Vladimir, I only want to help with one deal, Russia, because you're the only deal that we're not doing too well on. He oftentimes he said, no, he wants peace. And I think he does. I hope he does. We're going to find out soon. And it could be before the 50 days.
on the Fed chair search, sir, is Scott Bessent, your Treasury Secretary, your number one option whenever Jerome Powell leaves? Or
Well, he's an option.
is he your top
He's
option?
very good. Well, he's not, because I like the job he's doing.
Right.
That's why he's
And he
not.
couldn't do both, sir?
I like the job. I don't know if he was on the plane. Maybe he wasn't. But I do like the job he's done.
Right.
So, in that sense, probably he's not that much of an option.
Right.
Scott's been great. He's been terrific. He did a good job today. He's a very soothing force. He's soothing.
Are you concerned about job loss or privacy, or do you think this is the new technology?
It's interesting because we need jobs. We need a lot of people to work. We're going to be building very shortly hundreds of factories, including AI. We're building a lot of car factories. They're all coming in from other countries now in order to avoid paying the tariffs. And we need people working. So if AI can help us with that, that's a positive. Because we're not going to have enough workers to take care of it if we don't create something. So whether it's robots or whether it's AI, we need somebody to take care of it. Do you agree with that?
I agree. So many jobs to build. I mean, think about it. $15 trillion. That's 5 million people working in these factories, building them great high-paying jobs in America that President Trump has brought back. So those jobs, of course, are in the wings. So let's go. Let's train America, and let's get it.